Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to talk specifically about the mindset of credit repair, about what you have to be prepared for. And what I'm seeing from comments and from questions from people, things that I see in the news, uh, articles that are being written, interviews of family when they're talking about their credit, talking about their debt, talking about lifestyle changes, talking about being able to afford to feed their families or to get medication. Like you can't do one thing, you got to get rid of one thing to be able to afford the other thing, and prices, inflation, all of that stuff. And I'm here to tell you that this is that, like, if you could get your mind focused in the right direction, you could have some of the greatest things happen for you when it comes to your credit, when it comes to your job, when it comes to your business, when it comes to you and your personal life. See, a lot of the problems that we allowed to come into our life is from that outside. Is that it's so easy for you to accept something from the outside when you really should be the one on the inside making the changes. Everything that happens for us in our life is a result of what we have in our mind already. And the problem is that some of the stuff that's in our mind was given to us by people who didn't know what they were either talking about, or people who wanted to misguide us, or just from people who wanted to program us a certain way. So I find this a lot with credit and debt, is that, and was no genius about this. This is my life experience. This is what I had to go through, and I teach this. This is what I'm. This is coming from the inside. This is coming from the heart. This is telling you that what I had to go through, the transformation, and that when I look back, and we're all able to look back and look at how we've handled our finances, how we managed our credit, and we could say, well, if I would have made these decisions, I would be in a better position, or I made that decision and it put me in this position. But one of the things that I had to learn to stop doing is to start to think that what happened on the outside was just a decision that I made. Like a decision. A decision is a major part of it. Deciding to fix your credit, deciding to get out of debt, deciding to change your life financially, deciding to change your life on a personal level. Yes, that's a decision. But the thing about it that kind of, if you can imagine this, is that people think that it's like a decision and then it jumps to what happened. Like they decide, or I don't want to speak about this like I'm some Dalai Lama that's on the outside. I want to speak to you as like your brother or your sister or mentor. That's how I want to speak to you on it. Is that what we'll think, like this is us with that smiley face. And what we'll do is we'll decide. So we'll decide. And when we decide, we think that it's like this, the goal. So we think that we make a decision and that it automatically materializes over here. And most of the time, for most people, it doesn't materialize. I'm just showing you from how we're able to like keep moving forward as human beings, is that some stuff happens for us and some stuff doesn't. And the things that do happen for us, we kind of get a misconception about how that happened. But if you think back, if you look back at the things that have happened in your life, and for these purposes, let's just talk about for credit, for fixing your credit and getting out of debt. And some of you may be like, Steve, why did you say this? Like, this is like working against you. Like, I thought you were trying to get us to buy from you. Why would you say this to me? Because I'm of the mindset of that I'm gonna get what I'm supposed to get. And that if you want to be my customer, you're gonna be my customer. But if you don't want to be my customer, I'm gonna give you the tools and the information to do it. Because the ultimate goal for me is to have you successful, to have you well-grounded, to have you have a foundation under you so you're able to move forward in your life. Because no matter what, I'm not going to be there with you. It was one of the lessons that I learned early when people made fun of me for being in business. They were like, what are you doing? You don't have no money. You're sitting there you and your wife on the one bedroom floor in between the hall because you can't afford air conditioner in your one bedroom apartment trying to make this business. And that business turned out to be worth millions of dollars, made me and my family millions of dollars, changed our life. But guess what? The people who were making fun of me, they wasn't with me. So you need to understand that in your mind. See, if I give you a solution, you still have to have that desire on the inside. And when you have that desire, you make that decision. And when you make that decision, what's going to play a huge part on success and failure is that right here, is if it goes through you or if it goes around you. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. When good things happen to people and they didn't expect it, a lot of times they'll say, well, God, it was God. And I don't want to be in no religious stuff, so don't take this the wrong way. But they'll say it was God, it was a miracle. All of these reasons they'll come up with, and they forget about themselves. They forget about themselves. It's as if it just had to happen to them. Like, I had a desire, I made a decision, and then it happened. And the reason why that people do that, it's a protection factor within us as humans. It's because if something bad happens, if you do this and you don't achieve the goal, you don't want to make it like it was part of you. You don't want to make it like it was because of you that you didn't achieve that goal. Excuse me. That's the reason why. It's like a protection. It's like it's a way of us protecting ourselves. So if good things happen, it's everybody else, or, I made the decision and I went for it, but all of this lucky stuff happened, and they never think about it from it going through them. You are the vessel. Your belief, your thinking, all of that stuff is what can make a difference on a goal happening or the failure on a goal. Because I'm pretty sure that you can find someone in your family or a friend that you've given advice that has worked for you, and you're like, why the hell is it not working? Are you listening to me? And then if it does work, the person will be like, I got lucky. I had this happen with one of my relatives, and I'm going to mention who it was. Like, something good happened. And I was like, see, it happened for you. They were like, I got lucky. They got lucky, but they say it's lucky because they want to protect themselves. People don't say, you don't say, I don't say. We do this because we want to protect ourselves. Because we know as people what is true about what we're trying to do and what is false. Like, I can ask you a question and really you only know if you're giving me the truth. Now, if it's certain questions, because of evidence, I can know if it's true or false. Like looking at your credit reports, we say, hey, I didn't do none of that, and you got charge-offs and all that stuff on there, and you've had that account for like 10 years, I would know that you're not telling me the truth. But when it comes down to it, when you're trying to get something accomplished, really only you, this is you know if you're truthful or if it's false. And our beliefs and our thinking is what makes the difference between someone being successful with credit, someone being successful with getting out of debt. I would say that if you raise your level of belief, if you raise your level of belief and you allowed yourself to let things work, remember I talk about the marathon. You allow yourself to be on that marathon, and it can happen sooner for you or later. It doesn't matter. The goal is what you're working towards. That if you raise your level of belief and you change your thinking, that you would almost automatically guarantee that you would have a goal. And that if you internalize and you took your power back and said that everything that I do with my desires, everything that I do with making my decisions is because I made it, and when something good happens, I take the credit. You can say that it's God working through you, whatever that is, universal, whatever that is, but you are part of that. You are not part of it. And if something bad happens to you, you accept what happened and you move on. Because both of them, if you do both of these, you can take, it makes it easier for you to move forward when things don't go your way. And it makes it better for you where people think that they're getting lucky all the time. That's why you'll hear people, like, you hear this a lot, where be like, man, that person is lucky. How did they get so lucky? They're so lucky because their awareness and their thinking and their beliefs is at a high level. Like, good things happen for me because I'm just like thinking at a high level. When I wake up in the morning, I'm already getting my mind moving up to high level. And what happens when your mind is up in that high level, when you know that the answers come from you on the inside, from the decisions that you make, all of a sudden this creativity just boils up. It's like, rather than thinking about the bad things or I got to do this or that, you wake up and you start to get into a creative mode. And I would bet anyone here watching this video or anyone in my office that if you wake up and you get yourself in a creative mode on a daily basis, that good things are going to start happening to you. It will start to happen. And you might say that it's luck at the beginning, but it's really not luck. It's because you are like moving at a higher level. People will look at you and they'll be like, man, there's something different about you. And then they'll be like, well, that credit, I got that 850 credit. See, people be thinking like they got that credit score of 834. Like that's my score. Like it's on the outside of you. But that's what you did. That's your power. That's through you. You did this. That's through you. So are you saying that if your score all of a sudden dropped, that's not you? And I don't mean like that's not you as the person. You're the same regardless of what your score is. You're the same. What I'm saying is that, do you not believe that was part of your thinking when that score went down? That's what I'm saying, is that if your scores go down, your desire, if your decision making is changed and it goes through you, and all of a sudden your scores are down into the 650s when it was up here, is that bad luck? Or is that decisions that went through you and you allowed that to happen? That's why you got to be very careful with this. You got to be very careful with this, because you have a power from inside of you that you don't even know. Some of you don't even know exists. And I'm even awakened to it even more the more that I do, the more that I work on with helping people with their credit and debt. It just awakens me more. It gives me more creativity on things that I could do to try to get that motor moving in your mind, which is that subconscious mind, to get you to start thinking and leveling up your thinking, leveling up your belief, so you can know that you have that power on the inside to get these things accomplished. And for the purposes of this video, we're talking about credit, repair, and debt, getting out of debt. But this is something that is really part of all of our lives. So I hope you appreciate this video. I just wanted to make this because, I always say, and I want to maintain that that getting your credit repaired, getting out of debt, it is a process, but part of that process is to understand that you have to transform the way that you think, the way that you believe. You got to make those decisions, and you got to have desires on what you want. You got to know what you want. You got to picture it, and you got to be willing to do what it takes. And you can't limit yourself and say that it has to happen in 30 days or 60 days for you. It's going to be a marathon, and one way to judge it is you could look at your situation and see where you're at, and how long did it take you to get into that situation? How long have you been in that situation? What all do you have to accomplish to get out of that situation? And then you understand, hey, okay, now I'm gonna take my power back. I'm gonna make my decisions. I'm gonna level up my belief. I'm gonna level up my thinking, and I'm gonna get this done. And you will see that you will become creative about getting your credit repaired, creative about getting out of debt, creative about moving forward in your life. So I invite your questions and comments. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes us different, so you can see my 8-point validation process and my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit portion scores, go to my website, yournumber3scores.com. Grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports. If you have debt collectors coming at you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, cease and desist collection activities letter, and debt validation letter. Use the one that is appropriate for you. And I do ask for a donation at the end of those letters to get those letters, but you don't have to do one. But if you feel like you want to donate, it can literally help you save time, money, and frustration. And literally, if it could save you thousands of dollars dealing with a debt collector, I believe that would help you. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams.